Naomi becomes a champion.
Hayes scores a victory over Strowman.
And are we about to see a Drew and Solo alliance? Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
Solo and the Lou kicked things off, and to cut a long story short, he accepted the tribal combat match. Once again, reiterating the match will take place January the 6th on the 6th of January. When he's beaten Roman, Solo said he could hop back on his boat and sail off to the island of irrelevancy. Drew McIntyre's music then plays, and out comes the Scottish Warrior entering the ring. Solo says he was happy when Drew kicked Jimmy in the head last week, with Drew telling Solo that he's the one that cost him the WWE title at Clash at the Castle. But Drew is torn, adding that Solo was the only one that stood up to Reigns. Drew saying they both have the same goals. Drew said he's going to carry on going through his OG Bloodline member hit list, and then told Solo to take out Roman for good. And when that business is finished, you and I finish our business. Drew is then pulled from the ring and attacked by Jimmy Uso, Jimmy using his crutch. As they fight on the outside, LA Knight's music plays as he, Andrade and Apollo Crews run out, enter the ring and attack Bloodline 2.0 ahead of their 6-man tag match.
Bloodline 2.0 versus LA Knight, Apollo Crews and Andrade. We were already underway as we come back from the break, with Apollo Crews military pressing Tama Tonga. Knight tagged in, getting a half cover on Tama. Crews and Andrade then share tags, sending Tama and Jacob out the ring so they can hit them with a moonsault and dive over the top rope respectively.
Timed to perfection, may I add.
LA then goes solo. Solo doesn't bite. The fall guy, Tama, eventually gets tagged by Jacob, who immediately wrecks Apollo as we head to a break.
Crews manages to tag in Andrade, who takes it to Fatu with a double knees in the corner and then a 2-count cover. Andrade is then double teamed via Fatu and Solo, with the two hanging Andrade up on the top rope before Solo destroys him on the outside of the ring after Solo had blind tagged Jacob. Back in the ring with Fatu the legal man again, we watch a pop-up Samoan drop and then another advert. We come back as Jacob misses a hip attack and Andrade, which in turn allows Andrade to tag in Knight, with Jacob tagging in Tama. Knight wrecks Tama and then delivers a neckbreaker to Solo, who'd entered the ring. Apollo is tagged back in, splashes Tama and covers him for a 2-count before locking in a crossface submission. While this is locked in, Knight exits the ring, drop-kicking / baseball sliding Fatu over the announcer's table. While Knight admires his handiwork, Shadow Shinsuke attacks with a Kinshasa, taking him out of the game. With all this going on outside, Solo gets in the ring, breaking the submission Tama is in, drags Tonga over to his corner, tags himself in, and then hits Apollo with a spinning solo and a Samoan spike before covering him for the 1-2-3.
Backstage we see Byron Saxton and Alex Shelley, asking him what his thoughts are. Payback, replies Alex, and wants to face him alone without Sabin at his side.
We then watch again as Chelsea Green becomes the first Women's United States Champion on Saturday night's main event, with a follow-up interview from the same night with Byron Saxton. Nothing of note here, but Green did keep calling Byron Brian, which would have been funnier if he'd corrected her every time she said it, instead of just ploughing on with the interview. Green just saying it's her time, she's in the history books, and that she's going to Disneyland. What a champion.
After watching a Saturday night main event package, no pun intended, of Rhodes-Owens match and the aftermath, we hear from Owens, who's back down in Mankind's basement. He says what happened is not his fault, blaming Cody, the referees, and management. He says he was screwed out of winning the championship. He's not giving the Winged Eagle back until he gets what he wants, and that he hasn't snapped yet, vowing for things to get worse, but you don't want him to snap. Sorry, Thanos. What happens next is on Rhodes, Aldis, and the officials.
Back from the break, we see Johnny Gargano telling Ciampa to stay in the locker room when he faces off against Alex Shelley later.
Grayson Waller Effect now, Austin Theory with him, and his special guest, Braun Strowman, dressed as Santa, obviously. Waller suggests Braun hooks up with A-Town Down Under, when Carmelo Hayes heads out saying he wasn't ready last week, but now he is, calling Strowman a big ugly dumb Santa Claus Braun beckons Hayes into the ring and then starts throwing palm trees from the Waller Effect set at him. We head to a break with the promise of Hayes versus Strowman when we come back.
Ooh, I can't wait for that. We do indeed have this impromptu match when we come back from the break. Hayes wins via count out. Spoiler. Braun shakes off everything Hayes throws at him, with Strowman then ending up outside the ring. Hayes decides to follow him, running around the ring to attack, but Strowman meets him with a big boot. Strowman then throws Hayes onto the top rope, with Hayes falling back into the ring just as the referee reaches her 10 count. Hayes wins. Strowman isn't happy and so chases Hayes through the crowd.
Backstage, we see Nia Jax and Candice LeRae readying for their match later when Tiffany Stratton approaches. Stratton says she'll be at ringside, but LeRae tells her to stay backstage. Jax looking kind of awkward.
Back from the break, we see Strowman backstage still looking for Hayes. Strowman asks Pretty Deadly where Hayes is when he's blindsided by Hayes with a chair. After the attack, Hayes runs off as Strowman rises and gives chase once again.
Alex Shelley versus Johnny Gargano next. Nothing much to see here as we watch Shelley hit Gargano with a running knee from the apron to the outside before heading to a break. Shelley stops a slingshot spear and then meters out a few chops. Shelley's about to attack from the top rope with Gargano down in the ring when Ciampa comes out and gets on the apron. This distraction allows Gargano to kick Shelley, with Sabre then heading out, warding off Ciampa. Gargano then climbs the ropes up to Shelley, but Shelley pushes him off and hits a crossbody. As Shelley lands it though, Gargano rolls through, pinning Shelley and collecting the win. Boring, move on.
Yeah, it's
Not really.
I'm not invested in this.
No, not really.
They need to fill it because, yeah, anyway. We then learn of Liv Morgan defending her title against Rhea Ripley on the 6th of January, which of course is Raw's premiere on Netflix. Also, we called this last week.
We did,
So
yeah.
if you want to know what's happening, just watch it. Never mind anything else. We called that last week.
In gorilla position now with Byron Saxton, and he has Bianca Belair and Naomi with him, both rocking the Cruella de Vil look. Belair says she ain't going down without a fight, with Naomi saying she knows how important the titles are to Bianca and Jade, and she'll do what she needs to make sure they leave as champions.
Last match of the night, Bianca Belair and Naomi versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae in a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Belair and LeRae start us off with LeRae quickly tagging in Jax. Belair tags in Naomi and the two double-team Jax taking her down. But as Belair leaves the ring, Jax headbutts Naomi, which turns the tables for the heels. We have a break, come back and have LeRae and Belair in the ring, with Jax re-entering and then Simone dropping Belair, covering her for two. Jax beats on Belair a while before holding her up for LeRae to missile dropkick her from the top rope. LeRae had tagged herself in. Candice then sentons Belair using Jax back for extra height and covers Belair, but only for a two.
Belair makes a tag with Naomi coming in hot, chopping down Jax and then hitting what looked like the X Factor from the middle rope. Jax kicked out the follow-up pin. A split-legged moonsault missed Jax, with Jax then setting up the Annihilator on Naomi. Naomi got up though and powerbombed Jax, with Belair tagging in at the same time. As Jax hit the mat from the powerbomb, Belair 450 splashed her from the opposite corner and went for the pin.
Did look good.
LeRae made the save on two. Jax also busted open at this point. Out comes Tiffany Stratton, offering support to Team Jax as we watch LeRae hit a tornado DDT on Belair and cover her. Naomi this time making the save.
Jax and Stratton then have some sort of discussion about the briefcase, with the ref seeing Jax holding it. I have no idea what the plan was here, but they would just say, no, you take the case, I'll take the case. I don't know what the plan was. Belair then knocks Jax off the apron as we watch Naomi hitting LeRae with a knee and then split-legged moonsault. Naomi pins LeRae, winning the title for herself and helping Belair retain. SmackDown goes off the air with the two women celebrating in the middle of the ring with their titles. Good for them.
Yeah. I don't mind them too.
It kind of feels like we're going through the motions now, kind of just throwing some matches together.
Just keeping us going.
Waiting for it all to kick off on the first Netflix show.
Yeah,
I mean,
saving it for that.
We don't really need to hear from Punk and Seth anymore because they have their match.
Yes.
So we don't. Yeah. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, I'll beat you and I'll beat you.
They would just be saying the same things as they do, yeah.
And I can only assume that we'll hear, or rather see, Roman Reigns saying that he accepts Solo's acceptance of the tribal combat match again. Yeah, and then Liv and Rhea. It doesn't need a build. It's been building for what seems an age.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a mini pay-per-view.
That's what they're building it
They've
to
got
be.
the 3 matches. I can't see this being 2 hours.
No, I think they'll go back to 3.
If they've got all these other people supposedly,
and then they'll have legends and that coming in, and
yeah, I mean, we
probably
don't
some
know
stars.
that. We're not buying into that. They've got to have somebody.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be the matches and the regular
I
superstars.
said it, they're going to have some like music people in that.
Yeah, so I can see this being it's got to be 3 hours. I'd have thought we don't
Easy
know.
3 hours.
We don't take it as read. But we'd have thought it's 3 hours.
Any comments or views you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section below.
And I'm sure we'll get back to you. Just leave anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.